The United States Secretary of State Antony Blinken has returned to Israel for meetings after several days shuttling between Arab states in an effort to prevent an escalation of the Israel-Hamas conflict. Mr. Blinken is hoping to coordinate efforts against Hamas while finding ways to alleviate Gaza's humanitarian crisis. He is expected to meet leaders in Jerusalem as Israel prepares a major ground operation in the Gaza Strip. Now, U.S. officials say Mr. Blinken had wide opposition to Hamas from the leaders during his tour. However, they also expressed concern on the plight of the Palestinians. This visit to Israel, Mr. Blinken's second in just a few days, follows President Joe Biden's warning that a new Israeli occupation of Gaza would be a big mistake. The message is one of Mr. Biden's firmest efforts to signal restraint to Israel as the humanitarian crisis in Gaza reaches critical levels. However, the U.S. has been accused by Iran's foreign ministry of being heavily involved in the conflict and must be held accountable. Washington deployed 2 aircraft carriers to Israel, with one already in the eastern Mediterranean. Mr. Blinken says the carriers are not a provocation, but a deterrence. Bring in Sarah Coates now. She joins us live from Tel Aviv. Sarah, we've heard there Mr. Blinken in Israel just a few days ago, and then off to the Arab leaders across the Middle East, and now back in Israel. What new topics of discussion could we expect today?
Hello there, Jill. Well, look, he's widely expected to discuss this growing, deepening humanitarian crisis in the Gaza Strip. As it stands, there are hundreds upon hundreds of aid trucks on the Egyptian side of the Rafah crossing, just waiting to bring these crucial supplies into the Gaza Strip since Israel has imposed this blockade on the coastal enclave. Now, as it stands, the Rafah crossing still has not opened. Authorities said early this morning that it could potentially open for a pretty narrow window to let this crucial aid into the Strip and let foreign nationals out. We do know there are hundreds of people milling around the Rafah crossing, passports in hand, desperately wanting to flee. But Egyptian authorities say that Israel has blocked the opening of the crossing. Now, earlier today, the Prime Minister's office, Benjamin Netanyahu's office, came out to say that a truce had not been implemented. Before this, there were reports of Israel striking that area, which, of course, makes it extremely difficult to get people out and aid in. These foreign aid groups certainly do not want their employees going into an area which is under aerial bombardment. So, look, this is certainly set to be one of the topics that Blinken will be discussing there. And, of course, any potential regional spillover. What's been seen, Jill, over this past day is a real escalation on the northern border with Israel. Hezbollah has taken credit for striking inside Israel a number of times. It fired at least 5 anti-tank guided missiles at IDF posts in Israel. One person dead, a number of others wounded. Israel then struck back with attack helicopters. Now, just to show you the seriousness of this, Israel's northernmost hospital is in war mode. People have been moved underground and others have been moved to central Israel. Now, just finally on Blinken's visit there, Jill, Iran's foreign ministry spokesperson has just come out to say that the US is already heavily involved in the conflict and must be held to account. So, look, it certainly seems like regional players are already being more drawn into this conflict, and that has a lot of people very, very worried.
Yeah, indeed, Sarah. But what more can you tell us about reported negotiations to release the Israeli hostages held by Hamas?
Well, Jill, the Israeli military came out a few hours ago to say it believes now that there are more than 199 civilians being held in the Gaza Strip. They were kidnapped from southern Israel last Saturday. Still no word on the welfare or where these people are being held, but we do know that the Red Cross has had yet another attempt to reach out to Hamas to facilitate some sort of information exchange there and potentially even do things like pass on medicine. We do know that there are a number of hostages that do suffer from serious medical conditions who've been without care, without treatment and without their medicine now for more than a week. So, look, this is certainly a very, very serious situation, and one that the Israeli military says is a priority with this expected ground incursion, this offensive going into the Gaza Strip any time now. It says the main priority is to find and get these hostages back to their families safely. So, look, really no development on that front, which is certainly very concerning for the people on the ground and these families just wanting their loved ones home.
Thank you, Sarah. Sarah Coates, bringing us up to speed live from Tel Aviv.